Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. Today we're reflecting on Matthew 23, verses 1 through 12. And in today's gospel passage, we hear Jesus speaking to his disciples. He's telling them that the Pharisees teach from a place of Moses, and they're being true to what has been passed down to them through the chosen people for generations, and yet they aren't living out the heart of the law. In air quotes, they're doing all the right things, but for selfish reasons, which defeats the point. And in fact, it's even harmful to them and to the people they're supposed to be leading. Which is why Jesus tells his disciples to observe everything the Pharisees tell them, but to not follow their example. And then Jesus goes on to tell his disciples why. And he gives these specific examples about what the Pharisees are doing. This is not verbatim, because I don't know how to pronounce one of the words, but this is a summary of what he says, and pretty close to verbatim. They preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They lengthen their tassels and love places of honor at banquets. And Jesus clearly says, this is not the example to follow. This is not how I'm calling my followers to live their lives. So of course this is a great opportunity to reflect on our own lives and to ask ourselves, how are we looking compared to these things and in these spaces? But I also think that even before that, these examples about the Pharisees and how they're lacking tell us so much about who Jesus is and who God is to us. Unlike the Pharisees who don't practice what they preach, Jesus is found preaching the good news of the gospel to everyone who is around him, and everyone has a seat at his table. Unlike the Pharisees who put heavy burdens on people's shoulders and don't move a finger to help them, Christ calls us to pick up our cross daily, and he is under that cross with us, accompanying us every step of the way. While the Pharisees spend time lengthening their linen tassels to be noticed, Christ is busy tearing the temple veil from the top down, so that literally nothing can stand in the way of him revealing his desire to you and to me for intimacy. And unlike the Pharisees who want a place of honor at a banquet, just like the prodigal son's father, Christ is throwing a feast for us. When we come to him, when we return to him, he clothes us in his tunic of glory. He places his ring on our finger, and he calls us sons and daughters. So, as we're reminded in the scripture passage, Jesus is the rabbi, the master, and the father. And he desires to make us like himself. And he'll, do whatever it takes to spend eternity with each one of us, which is just so beautiful. So he humbles himself daily for our sake, and he invites us to do the same. And that invitation is trustworthy. So that's all I've got for today, my friends. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Saturday.